What does it cost to buy a beach house? Well, the answer is a lot. But I get that question a lot. Hi, I'm Jim Allison. I get that question, and the answers vary. I'm standing here direct oceanfront in Garden City Beach, South Carolina. To the north of me is the Garden City Pier that you can see in the distance. And south of me, and this is important because there's a curve in the way the ocean is, not the ocean itself, but the beach curves. And you can see that behind me over here. Lots and lots of money, but lots. The lots that the houses are built on are very important. Where I stand, the lots in this section, I'm in the Horry County Silent H part of South Carolina, and this section from the pier, this to the north I showed you a minute ago, behind me 5 blocks is the Horry County section of Garden City Beach. The lots are 50 feet wide by about 80 or so, but a lot of that land goes into the state's property. And by the state's property, what I really mean is you can't build there because it's too close to the ocean. You still own it as a landowner, so it can go further back 80, 120 feet. But there's a thing called an oceanfront setback that the state mandates. I'll come back to that later. But where I am now, the 50-foot lot allows you to have a 30-foot footprint, 10-foot setbacks on each side. That's mandated by the county, and the way they allow I guess the closeness, that's not really a great word, but it works in this case. So separation is a better word. Each property is separated by 10 feet to the property line, and that way the neighbor themselves is also separated by 10 feet. So a 20-foot distance between the two houses. What that allows typically is to have 30 feet wide by around 40 feet or 45 feet front to back, from the road back to the seaward side of it. So it gives you around a 1,200 foot building pad, and allows you to do that twice. So 1,200, 1,224, and if you do it right and have an engineer do your attic, where some of that can be enclosed as well, and get another 600 square feet, that allows you to get real close to 3,000 square feet a house. That's being very adventurous and really focusing on getting maximum out of your property, maximum square footage. And that's what you really want to do, because of what you're paying for these properties. You want to get the maximum rental and the maximum square footage, unless it just doesn't matter and you want to build the house the way you want it and use it the way you want it. So often the owner of that house is focused on the return on the investment. There's a lot of equity to be gained in these houses. Typically, it's not overnight where you flip it. We have situations and we have seasons where property will be flipped in maybe twice or even 3 times in a 5-year period. And that's when we're on the up, meaning property values are going up quickly. But once it slows down, we don't flip them. We actually have a crest where we hit a peak and the property values fall back. And that's a little bit where we are now. We hit a COVID crest in the end of 2023 and 24, and now the properties have come back a little bit. So to tell you, what does an oceanfront house cost? In this area, it's going to cost around $1.2 million to $1.5 million. And in some cases, in quite a few cases, because of the condition of the house, they've really done a nice job. They're going to get more than $1.5 million. It could be $1.6 million, $7 million, or $8 million, just based on the size and condition. I'm going to take you down to the Georgetown County part of the beach. It's about 5 blocks from here, and you can see a 60-foot lot, 60-foot wide lot, and see the difference. So right now, I'm going to step a little bit inland or landward, and you can see the beach behind me. You don't see a lot of dunes. There's some, but not a lot. You'll see the difference in just a minute. To pick up where we left off, I'm in the Horry County part of Garden City Beach. I'm headed south past the county line to show you an example of what a 60-foot wide lot looks like. And that's a fairly substantial part of the beach. It's around the 500 block south to the 1000 block. So you'll see, as we're pretty static right now as far as elevation, you'll see in just a moment we will go up a rise, and the elevation changes in a positive way. It's always good when you're beachfront to be up a little bit higher, so you're above the water mark and you're above where storms can come in. Most of the houses are built on stilts or pilings, as we call them, and I'll come back to that too in a moment. But the pilings allow the water, if we were to have a storm, to go right under the house from front to back and not cause any damage at all. You can see now I'm just about to go up this rise. Sorry for the jiggling. And our elevation has changed a couple feet. So we're gonna pull over in just a minute and pick up our video. I'm located a little further south, almost 9 blocks south of the pier. I'm in the Georgetown County part of Garden City Beach. The lot sizes here are 60 feet wide. And you can see as I move around a little bit, the difference in the sizes of house. That didn't do it. But you can see the difference in the size of the dunes behind the beach. Behind the beach in front of the house. The other part is you've got a lot more depth here that allows you to have a swimming pool. I don't know if you can see that swimming pool behind me. The neighbors to the north of me have a pool, and the neighbors to the south of me have the opportunity to do it. They would have to lose a little bit of their back steps in order to be able to get the pool in there. But so often the pool adds so much rental income that it's important to be able to add that income and give up some of the, the steps. You can reconfigure them. The difference here now is we have a dune line, the ability in some cases here to have a swimming pool, and additionally we're able to have a little bit bigger house. The lot size of 60 feet with 10-foot setbacks on each side allows you to have a building pad that's 40 feet wide. And in fact, that's the case with this house. It's 40 by 45 feet. So you've got a lot more space to work with and to have a little bit larger house. Now with that comes a price tag, because you can do more with it. And there's an old saying of highest and best use. You want to plug that in if you're an investor, or if you're whether a passive investor or a real specific hardcore, what is my income versus my costs on a yearly basis, monthly, yearly basis, however you want to calculate it. There's a lot of things to figure. You've got your expenses, you've got your taxes. If you're borrowing money, you've got interest to look at. Some people will put money, they call it parking money. They'll park money here for a little bit when they do a tax-free exchange. That allows them to bump up to a higher priced property they can afford based on the ability to use the money tax-free. That's another topic. That's called a 1031 tax-free exchange. We'll discuss that another time. But going back to the income part of it, there's a second way to invest in the property. It's long-term, where you buy it, use it for your family, and use it for 10 years or 15 or 20 years, and you're going to experience equity in the house. There's just the beach grows in price. And it's a really cool thing if you look back and put a pin in a calendar many years ago, not a monthly calendar, but an annual calendar, and look at what it cost to buy one of these in 1980, 1990, the year 2000. Everything goes up. Generally speaking, it goes up modestly, but we have certain little factors that in the national market that causes a spike. The last spike here was COVID, and the prices went through the roof. People did flip houses. They sold houses a couple times, meaning property, people A sold to people B, and people A made $100,000. People B sold to people C within 24 months, and they made $100,000 or more. And those are parts of the economy that are very cyclical, and we see them. In this case, the last one was about 15 years from the previous one in 2005. I want to take you down to look at the 75-foot wide lots to see the difference. So a couple things, look behind me. You can see the dune line, you can see the pool, and you can see the houses. I'll pick up in just a moment. We'll be at a 75-foot wide lot. Before I take off, I did want to show you a little bit of a close-up of what the dune lines look like. And again, I'm in the 900 block of Georgetown County, where the lots here are 60 feet wide. You can see as I go side to side what they look like. You can even see the stairway here on the house beside us, and the house I'm at right now begins to gain sand. And that's a good thing. We always want to be building sand, not losing sand, or building beach, not losing beach. I'll see you in a minute from the 75-foot wide lot area. Here I am, I'm on my way from the 60-foot wide lots to an area that has predominantly 75-foot wide lots. In everything, there's always a variable. There's always a one-off that's a little bit different that we see over and over. Also, one thing that we see on our beach are public access areas. Some that have public parking, others that just have sometimes golf cart or pedestrian only. When it's pedestrian only, they're allowing the neighbors on this side of the beach to come over to that side of the beach. Now, what I just pointed to, this side of the beach has a canal behind it, a saltwater canal that the common vernacular here is called a creek. And the creek typically has a dock, and there's fishing and crabbing and boating and all the things that come with a saltwater dock. You can go across to the restaurants and to the fishing areas there, as well as to the Marlin Quay Marina or the Quay restaurant in this area. So now you can see a little bit of the difference. We've crossed over into the 75-foot wide lot area. And you can see there's some holdouts that have been there for many, many, many years. And you can see the newer houses. And as I get a little bit closer, you can see the depth of this now. Not only do you see the width, but you see the depth. And the ones that have been there for years and years and years, they're holdouts, they're great families that have these properties, and they're just not interested, nor do they desire to build one of those. But one of those makes a lot of money because those houses are designed with a lot of amenities behind them. They have swimming pools and fire pits and outdoor kitchens and hot tubs and bocce ball, many, many things that cause the rent to the owner to be able to charge a higher rent fee. Because they have the amenities, a lot of families want to choose those things to have as many activities and things to do with the family while they're here for a week. So I'm going to press on a little bit further, and we are, like I mentioned a minute ago, we're coming up to an area where the Marlin Quay Marina is located, and the Quay restaurant, and there's the Gulfstream restaurant right there. It's a funny story of how that works because they share a parking lot, and two restaurants don't want to share a parking lot. But they do, and everything seems to have settled down and works. We just made a turn on our trip that we're a little more landward, which causes these oceanfront houses here to be extra deep and extra wide. You can see that. I'll come back without making you dizzy. We just passed a condominium. There's a few condominiums in this area of the beach that allow you to just that many years ago, specifically in the 1980s, some of them in the late 70s. Some of the condominiums were built at that point. That is a thing of the past because we've gotten, we've used all that land that is this depth and that size to build a condominium. So I'm coming up to the last one right here, just ahead of the golf cart that's in front of me. And we'll see the South Point Villas. Beyond that, it's all houses. And also beyond that are a smattering of 100-foot wide lots. They're wide, but they're not deep. So the premium lot typically is going to be that 75-foot wide lot. So I'll meet you there in just a moment. Well, thanks for meeting me here. We're now at part of the beach. This is the Georgetown County part of the Garden City Beach, where we're at the 75-foot wide lots. And you can see the difference behind me, how the dune line goes substantially further. Typically it has 3 or 4 peaks and then troughs that go with it. To the south, it's going to be hard to see it, but you might be able to see it in the distance where you can see the curvature of the coast as well. We're in the curve, so to speak, and this part is the widest and the deepest. And with it comes the houses that are fitting for that size. I'm going to sneak over here and let you see this other one. I'm up on a porch where you can see everybody here has a swimming pool, and as I spoke to you earlier, the swimming pool adds income. People want to come on a trip to the beach and have a swimming pool. it just adds another element of spending a lot of time at the beach, but coming in the afternoon and camping out at the pool deck and just enjoying family time. Um, I also spoke a little bit about setback lines. The state of South Carolina mandates how far off the beach you can come, or in this case, how far off the land you can build seaward. It's a big deal. They have a baseline and a setback line, and you can't cross them. And these houses, you look to the north of me, and again to the south of me, you can see how everybody is kind of lined up within a couple inches of each other to take advantage of the biggest building footprint they have. The houses in this area are typically plus six bedrooms, 6, 7, 8 bedrooms, even 9 and 10 bedrooms. And with that comes a corresponding amount of bathrooms. When people are on vacation, they want to have a private bath. That makes sense. I feel the same way. So from that standpoint, you can see the difference between the 50-foot wide lot, 60 and 75-foot wide lot. A minute ago, we went down and looked where the 100-foot wide lots are. Those are to the south, another probably 2 miles to the south of us, but they don't have the depth. This is the premium area where it has the width and the depth. My name is Jim Allison. Feel free to call me, text me, email me, any questions that you might have regarding a beach house.